you 1 minute.
I call the March 3rd City of Clermont Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Commissioner Insua?
Ensua.
Insua.
Here.
Sorry.
You're good.
Commissioner Nemec?
Present.
Chair Colby?
Here.
And Paula Hoisington is not present.
Please stand as you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will get started. Thank you, Commissioner May. We have a small time lag, I think, between Illinois and here, but thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I'll remind everyone to please make sure that your microphone is turned on before speaking. Anyone coming to the podium, your microphone should already be on. Please speak clearly so that the people present will be able to hear you, and also the folks watching online will be able to hear you. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live on the city's YouTube channel, which is at City of Clermont. Commissioners, you have received the minutes for the February 3rd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. If there are no additions, corrections, I will entertain a motion and a second for approval.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for.
I'll make a second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right.
Aye.
A little delay with Ms.
That is unanimous. Thank you. All right. We're at the portion of the meeting where we do ask commissioners and staff for reports. So I will start with my commissioner to my right, Commissioner Kramer. Do you have any reports?
Thank you. Chairman Colby, I appreciate that. Give me 1 second. So good evening. Before we begin, I want to briefly recognize a few recent community efforts. I had the opportunity to attend the community meeting with Chief Graysick last night and his leadership team as they gathered input for their 5-year strategic plan. I appreciate the proactive outreach by our police department and their commitment to listening to residents as they plan for the future of the public safety in Clermont. I also regret that I wasn't able to participate in the recent charrette in person. However, I did my best to follow the discussions online, and I'm grateful that our city continues to make meetings accessible both in person and through the internet. That transparency and accessibility are vital to a healthy, engaged community. I also want to reiterate that I remain a strong supporter of form-based planning. Thoughtful design and clear standards help us shape growth in a way that protects character while encouraging quality development. With that, I look forward to a constructive and productive evening.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Nemec? Yes.
Sorry, Chairman. The report is, I was with that meeting with Commissioner Kramer. There was nothing said about the P&Z, so there's no sunshine law in that. But it was a great meeting. I just hope our council supports our police department. Also, at the city council meeting I was at last week, I don't know if staff's going to bring this up. I don't want to take their thunder from them, but I believe the council wanted us to write a report and ask our input. Is that, do you have that plan, P&Z Director? I don't want to. Oh, so you're not bringing it up today?
Not today.
Interesting. All right, because I believe it was Councilman Bain would want a report from our chairperson. Are you saying no?
Someone else.
Strange. I thought Okay, no problem. Same thing.
We got it covered, though.
Okay, so we're going to have a report ready for them, even though you're not ready to present it to us? If they ask for it at the next council meeting, which is next week?
We're working on it, yeah.
I'll address that when I give my report.
Thank you. Thank you, David. I don't want to, after that, I have no other report right now.
All right, Commissioner Insua.
Thank you, Chair. I have no report at this time.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Tadona?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As part of my report, is it okay if I slide these down to everybody? So I too was able to attend a few of the DPZ meetings. Some of the ideas sound really good. I like the ideas of incorporating some strong town ideas. I did remind them that, you know, in my opinion, a lot of the damage is already done to Clermont, so I'm not too sure where we could take advantage of those opportunities, but if there are opportunities to take advantage of, it would be great. In the handouts that I gave you, I guess I kind of got bored the other day, and I took a Google Maps, Google Earth map of Lake County from 2005 and from 2020. I don't have an exact day, month, but you could obviously see that there is some serious, what we would call deforestation, that's taking place in Lake County because we don't put trees back, or we replace trees with shrubs and all kinds of other stuff. In your notes, there are several peer-reviewed scholarly articles about the impact of climate change. So if you don't mind me saying, the average mature tree typically absorbs about 48 pounds of carbon dioxide a year, and the average vehicle puts out about 10,000 pounds of carbon dioxide a year. According to the Florida Highway Safety Motor Vehicles website, as of July 2018, there were 415,000 vehicles registered in Lake County. In 2026, that number rose to 433,645. So we average approximately 2,455 vehicles, new vehicles registered in Lake County. That's not including snowbirds or any kind of tourism traffic. So in a week, 2,455 times the mileage times the poundage, we put out another 500,000 pounds of carbon into the air. And we're not taking out anywhere near that kind of carbon while we're taking down trees. So I guess my only thing that I would want to say in closing is, you know, if you are in favor of climate change and you're worried about global warming, you're actually living it here in Lake County due to rampant overdevelopment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner May, do you have a report?
I just wanted to say that I also attended all the meetings at the Charettes. Great information. I think we're going into a positive, you know, we're putting ourselves in a positive position with the city, and I look forward to the council to push all the policies, new policies in the form-based code forward for the betterment of our city. But I appreciate everyone, and I want to thank the staff again, the IT staff, for putting me online with you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I just have three quick things to report on. One, I did go to those meetings with TPZ that I could attend, and I think it is a great look for the city that we're moving together in a very positive way. So really kudos to the city for doing that. The item that Commissioner Nemec brought up, it was brought to my attention by former Commissioner Bain, now Councilman Bain. When he was the chair of this committee, he put together a memo. I understand that this memo is helpful to the city council because the city council would like to see something before we get minutes approved. A lot of the information in here is largely, he gave me a sample, a lot of it is information that will go into the minutes, but really trying to define what it is and get it to them in short order. So I have talked to city staff and see how we can put something together that reflects what happens here. I have a quick summary. Of course, you know, there's video and different things that they could go watch, but I think the intent of the report is it tells what the vote is on every item and gives a small synopsis. So so I will be working with city staff this week to see if we can put something together in short order and provide what it is that the council's looking for, so they can get a flavor from this commission what our opinion was before the city council acts on that. So I understand that to be the spirit of what we're trying to do here. Anything anybody wants to add to that? Am I understanding this correctly?
If you think you need help with putting that together, please let me know.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. And I do have I knew it was being done before, but I hadn't actually seen what the finished product that was being given to the city council. If anybody wants to see that, I have that here. So thank you, and I'll be in touch this week. So thank you for volunteering, and we'll see what we can do to communicate that in short order. The third thing is Commissioner Bain was also good enough to give me the template that he had done. I believe he had consulted with city staff and just going over certain disclosures and whatnot for this meeting. So I'm using that as my template. It is my first time using it, so you may need to bear with me, but I will follow this because there is some information about disclosures and how we go about our business. So that is it for my report. Before we get into unfinished and new business, commissioners will report any disclosures they have regarding items on tonight's agenda. Please report which agenda items and the subject matters and specifics, and identify persons or groups or entities who you have communicated with. If individuals have communicated with more than one person, please indicate that. As a reminder to commissioners, and to be transparent with the public, disclosures of any ex parte communication, written or verbal, and commissioner investigations, site visits, expert opinions received, and communications being read tonight will be in the record. They must be disclosed at this meeting tonight. By making disclosures, such activities, actions, and communications shall not be presumed prejudicial, and allows persons who have opinions to the contrary and a reasonable opportunity to refute or respond. So with that, that is the information that had been prepared, so I wanted to present that because I know we try to keep all of that in mind. From here, having addressed the disclosures, we'll now move into the unfinished and new business. Before we have the city staff applicant presentations of the agenda items, they will be followed by public comment and then actions by the commissioners. And any questions will be addressed. We'll now proceed to handle each agenda item individually, unless it's announced beforehand. So we will start with item agenda number 1, which is on our agenda as resolution 2026-005R, Salt Shack on the Lake. City staff.
Good evening, planning and zoning commissioners and guests. Nick Gonzalez, Development Services. This is agenda item number 1, Salt Shack on the Lake CUP. Before I begin with staff's report, it came to our attention that language was carried over from a previous resolution that should have been revised. A copy of the revised resolution was given to you before this meeting and shows an updated land use in section 2. Just wanted to show this real quick. This is the updated resolution. Could you zoom out just a little bit? And section 2, land use, now reads, permitted uses shall include a restaurant over 3,000 square feet at 846 West Osceola Street, as well as uses permitted within the CBD. Outdoor dining may occur east of the restaurant along with the deck expansion north of the building between the building and Lake Mineola as shown in Exhibit A. And then there was a strike through of all the language that was from an older resolution, and that was the permitted uses here, additional permitted uses, as well as number 2, number 3, and number 4. So the new resolution will just have 2, 3, and 4. And now I'll continue with the presentation. The applicant, Jimmy Crawford, is requesting a conditional use permit amendment to revise the site plan in Resolution 2023-011R to include the expansion of the restaurant deck and an additional outdoor seating area on the north side of Salt Shack on the Lake restaurant located in the CBD district. The property is located at 846 West Osceola Street, formerly known as Lily's on the Lake. Here's just an exhibit of the location. Here's Osceola Street. Outlined in yellow is the restaurant. And then outlined in black here, you can see this is where the expanded deck will be. The proposed amendment includes an enlarged deck footprint and the addition of new outdoor seating to accommodate increased dining capacity. With the addition of seating, staff has included an updated condition in the revised resolution requiring that any additional parking demand generated by the expanded seating area be satisfied through payment in the city's parking fund as allowed under section 115-114 of the Land Development Code. This payment must be made prior to the approval of site review application. The current cost per space is in the parking fund is $3,000 as approved by the City Council. If this is increased prior to the time of site plan approval, then the applicant will be responsible for paying the new fee. Based upon the anticipated additional seating of 104 seats, the parking requirements would be 1 space for every 8 seats. This would equate to 13 spaces and a payment of $39,000 into the parking fund at the current rate. Here is the restaurant with its existing outdoor dining area, and on this image is the proposed decking area that's north of the restaurant. The project does not require approval from the city regarding lakefront impacts. The applicant has already secured permit approval from the proposed improvements from the St. Johns River Water Management District. The CUP amendment does not alter the approved uses but modifies the configuration of the outdoor dining area to improve functionality and enhance customer service. All other conditions of Resolution 2023-011R remain in effect. The proposed increase in seating does not appear to be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding community. The city did receive a noise complaint in May of 2024. An investigation was conducted and was found that the sound was a result of the mechanical equipment at the site. Sound compression blankets were installed on the exhaust fan and HVAC equipment in July of 2024. This reduced the sound decibels well below the city's sound decibel limits, and no further complaints have been received. When evaluating a request for a conditional use permit, the Land Development Code Section 101-212 requires specific development standards that are required to be met. Staff has reviewed the application as submitted in accordance with the development standards criteria and finds the proposed use can meet the general criteria for granting a conditional use permit. The proposed use will not be detrimental to health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding community, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit with the conditions contained in resolution number 2026-005R. That concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, staff. Now I'd like to ask the applicant to come up and speak.
Thank you very much, P&Z commissioners, chairman, and guests. Jimmy Crawford, 702 West Montrose Street, Clermont, Florida, with Crawford, Modick, and Holt, and I do represent Salt Shack in this application to expand our deck seating. We have been working with staff months and months, and that's mainly because St. John's took us more than a year to get through for a permit for St. John's. And that's correct, it's an outstanding Florida water. They made us revise our stormwater and our drainage and prevent mooring to the deck. We've agreed to all those conditions. We agree with the staff report and the conditions that are in there. I do have Catherine Horner and Jeremy Darden, who are the general managers of the restaurant, here to answer any technical business questions that I can't answer. And we would like to hear from the public, questions from you, and have a chance to respond.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, at this time, so if you could stand by to possibly answer questions, Mr. Crawford. At this time, I'd like to open it up to the public to see if anybody would like to come up and make comment or ask questions on item number 1. Please state your name and address for the record.
Charlene Harrison, 4th DeSoto Street, Clermont. And when I say this, it's a little bit of levity with Jimmy sitting back here. I've fought him for many years, and he's probably going to hope one day he wakes up and my name's in the obituary, because I'm not going away, okay? So I turned 70, and Jimmy, maybe I'm going to live to be 80 or 85, so you got a long way to go.
105 is my guess.
Okay, there you go. I don't think, well, yeah, they've lived to 90 and 100 in my family, but I don't want to live that long. But all kidding aside, I'm down here because of all of our neighbors and stuff. They don't like coming to the P&Z because it's just been, I started this, I was telling them earlier today, when I was 37 years old and on the Save Our Lakes. And I'm now just turned 70 back in July. It's been a long haul, people. And I've had to fight Jimmy, tooth and nail, Juan sometimes, including Cecilia Bonifay, tough attorneys. And they don't hire him for a reason, because there's some red flags here. And I met them out in the hallway. I want to say this first, and Jimmy knows this. And these are the general managers, not the owners of this business, so I'm surprised the owners are not here. And I caught them out there after they got approved for the Salt Shack, after we all know, some of you that's been here, the Lilies on the Lake, we had the stripper Chippendales down there, we had the midget wrestling. I mean, just, it went on and on. And when I met them in the hallway, I said, I bet y'all are going for this, and you're going to try to put a boat dock down there or something like a marina. Well, we just want to be good neighbors and stuff. Well, guess what? They did apply for St. John's River Water Management. They got turned down and denied, which yay. But now the flip side to that is we've got everybody, including DeSantis, and this is not about Republicans, up there in Tallahassee, and St. John's River Water Management is not there to protect any of our lakes or any of this. They are politically bought and paid for by the developers now. This is not people that used to sit there. And I'm sorry to say that, because I'm a 4th generation native Floridian. Now, what I've seen downtown, I don't care about what the noise complaints. We're so tired of it. We have been taking complaints and complaints, but my fear is going to be is that when they do this, it's going to be just like the other restaurants, and just like they told me in the hall, and yet then they went for it. They didn't wait long to try to go for that boat docking stuff, is that they're going to have events there. There's going to be weddings that are going to say, I'm going to the restaurant, but there's probably going to be DJ stuff there. Now, we already are hearing the sound. And I was down there, and I've got to say this because I want to make sure I'm on the record. What is the last name of Nathan, the guy we just hired? Norris. Is what? Norris. Okay. I wanted to have it on the record. Nathan Norris. He spent 2.5 hours with me a couple weeks ago downtown and said, Charlene, I know you've seen everything. They've hired me here. We were walking back at the pier. I want y'all to hear this, where we've got the veterans place going. That you think hopefully they're going to be down there decompressing. And please give me a minute, because I'm here and you didn't have to have 20 from the neighborhood, okay? And when I was walking back with Nathan, they were blasting music out there in the sand where their umbrellas and their seating is. And Nathan said, and I quote, well, this isn't good. Does this go on all the time? I says to every one of them. And they're not the only one. We've got the Suds, we've got the Mullets, we've got CBC, we've got some others now. They've actually put speakers on the building. We've never had amplified whatever. And it's not going to stop. That's our fear. And they already got it as a restaurant. They said that was good enough, but this is what happens. Everybody wants to expand. And then, guys, try to get to your house down there. Now they got a free parking lot, and you can't blame them, but they knew probably it was going in. Jimmy's smart, he knew. So the whole parking lot down there by the historic is the Salt Shack. I'm sure they laugh all the way to the bank. They take up everything when they're open, all of it, all of it. So enough is enough. You can buy into this. I don't care if they gave us 100,000. It'll take 50 years to take enough of that money for all of those parking things to ever have it. And when we build a 3-story, if we ever did that, they're going to go, it's filled up. Wow, wow, wow. Where am I going to park? So I want y'all to know that. We've already got the guy we hired here who heard this. And it's just going to be more and more and more. And then it goes across the lake. And we'll hear from those people later when it's going to really hit in 2 weeks, because it bounces across that lake. But you know, guys, the inn is full downtown. There is nowhere for any more cars and any more people. We got to get a handle on this and look to the future, guys. I mean, we're looking to y'all. That's why this, I know when this was incepted and asked us to have a planning and zoning board, because they wanted part of the public. And Eben, I know you were up there on that council. You've seen this. But my goodness, they've got a restaurant. Run the restaurant and do the best one that you can. But they were over there from Tampa. We are not the ocean and we're not the intercoastal. This is a protected lake out there. And my God, people want to go down there and sit on those benches, and they're just going to be, even if they didn't have music, they're going to be just shouting and screaming, because that's what people do when a bunch get together. So thank you for letting me take that time. But it's been a long haul, and this is what we see, and it's not going to stop.
Okay, before you step away from
Yeah,
the
do you have
microphone.
any questions before I go?
Yeah, Mr. Nemec has a question before you sit down.
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Charlene Forth, may I ask you your opinion on what percentage of that new parking lot we built that this
Say that
new-
again, I'm sorry.
The percentage of the parking lot that we built, the city built.
Yeah?
How much of a percentage? 5%, 10%, 60%, in your opinion?
When it's the
Because
weekend,
you're,
you mean that the people that park and walk over to the salt shack?
why don't you give me a Monday through Thursday opinion, and then a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday opinion?
Yeah,
of how much percentage
it comes and
they
goes
use.
during the week, and they know. But then the weekend, starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and including even the market, and they're coming at my house, offered $20 to park in our parking lot, in my driveway. That's how bad
Ms.
it is.
Falk, if you could
So
just
it's
stick to my
probably well
question.
past 75 or 80%. They're all walking over to the salt shack. You can just stand there and watch it. I can go get a video and take it. I mean, there's no reason to do it. We all see it. And then the cars line up down Osceola, because then they can't get to the salt shack. It's filled, the new lot is filled, and then they just do a circle. And that's when they come around all our neighbors asking for parking.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Yeah,
Falk.
so thank you.
I'm sorry to delay you at the microphone.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Still open for public comment. Go ahead, sir.
All right, Evan Fracasso, 1844 12th Street. I'll try to keep it short for you guys. I'm going to touch on the South Florida Water Management District first. As she mentioned, South Florida is pretty much bought and paid for. Or I'm sorry, not South Florida, St. John's Water Management District. If you look up Mighty River Recovery, the St. John spends millions of dollars with applied aquatics, putting pesticides in our waterway to control invasive species or invasive plants. This also kills all of our native plants as well. So taken into that account, I don't think they take into account any chemical runoff that's going to come off of that deck area for cleaning. And then on the parking, $40,000. That's a drop in the bucket. That doesn't even cover, the cost to replace lights and maintain that parking lot that they got for free for a couple years. So, and then when looking at that site plan, it looks like they're missing a foretop in the corner, which I'm sure you'll see will come up later once you're there eating, if you guys do approve this. So that's all I have on that matter. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Final call for public comment. All right, I will bring it to the commission.
Okay. May I respond briefly to
Oh,
that, Mr. Chairman?
You go ahead.
And then,
You
of
you may,
course-
you may, and then you'll probably
Yeah,
have more
I'll
questions.
stand here for questions,
Go ahead.
of course.
Go ahead.
Well, I do have this is the city code on music and outside amplified entertainment. I will say that the CUP that's before you is even more restrictive than the code, because we're stopping at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. on Sunday And actually, we close at 10 p.m., so we never have music after 9 p.m. And it's always been one single guitar singer
That's not true.
sitting down there. And and then there's our parking. And to the issue of St. John's, they were really hard on us. We never applied for a marina or a boat dock at all. We applied for just what we wound up getting with some additional environmental considerations, like the revamp of the stormwater system. We had Lily's had an old sidewalk running down to the lake, and it didn't have any stormwater capability. So what little bit of water ran down there just ran straight in the lake. So we fixed that. We now have an underdrain system to prevent that. And they did prohibit boat tying up to the deck, and we would have prohibited that anyway. So we're fine with that. And as far as the inn is full and no more room on downtown, the business owners downtown don't believe that's true. And if there wasn't demand for doing this, for Salt Shack to be able to add some additional seating, it's still a restaurant. It's not a wedding venue. It never will be. It bodes well for downtown. And once Lumberyard comes into full occupancy, it's going to be more busy down here. And yes, we have to deal with the parking. We've been talking about that for a long time, and I know Mr. Norris and DPZ and the new comp plan is working on that as one of their primary goals. But the parking is right there. So if we have problems with the parking amount and with St. John's, it's not for this board. Y'all can't change any of that. We don't have any control over St. John's. They should go to Palatka and argue and come to the city council and say that the parking fee is not enough. We're just complying with the code is what we're trying to do, and we would ask your approval, and I'd be happy to put the whole team up to try to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Crawford. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing nobody else, I close the public comment portion of this meeting, and we'll open it up to the commission for consideration. We will start with you, Commissioner May, online. Commissioner May?
Thank you, sir. Yes, can you hear me? Thank you, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Questions? What are the setback requirements for the lakefront property? I believe it's 25 feet from the high water mark, so I want to make sure that that deck is within that boundary. I know there's no encroachments into the 100-year floodplain, so I'm not I don't have any information on that. I believe there's a minimum of 24-foot buffer is required for all lakes and wetlands. So I want to see if that is being looked at. In regards to shoreline protection ordinance, I believe there's the buffer. I don't know if it's in regards to natural vegetation, but I believe the Lake County Water Authority should have some say due to the water quality. I know that the buffer, I think the reason why for the buffer is for that. So, so that's the questions on that on the shoreline. Now, in regards to parking, I understand that there is 104 seats. Does that, and I'm asking the staff, does that include staff parking as well? If that was, so if it's 104 seats, is that for the seating of the customers as well as staff, because you would have additional staff as well that would require parking for the site? And let's see.
Okay. Okay.
And then, and for the attorney, you mentioned that there's no outdoor music shall be allowed past 11 PM on Friday or Saturday, and that was included, but however, in our new red line, that was excluded. So we would need to have that information back into the resolution. And I understand that all the events, the uses were excluded, because it falls under the uses under the CBD Central Business District, but I do want to include any exclusions to water sports rental areas, ice vending machines, bait sales. I think that, will cause more boats to use that shoreline, which should be protected, as well as prevent any more boats, because I love the Salt Shack, I go there all the time, but I see a lot of boats coming up to the shoreline, so my concern is really that shoreline protection. So if you can answer everything that I have talked about, I appreciate it, and I will mute myself, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you.
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner May. Let me try to go in order. We do meet all applicable setbacks of both the city and St. John's. That was one of the major issues that we went through St. John's with. The parking, we do not have any additional parking for employees. The plan is to utilize the existing employees. We're overemployed a little bit right now. And depending on how that works out over time, there may be, and that'll be an issue through the site plan approval process, that if staff demands additional parking for future potential additional employees, we'll pay into the fund for those as well. But we don't, there is no plan right now to hire any additional employees. The sound time, yes, Mr. Gonzalez just told me that the final version of the ordinance takes out the restriction in the ordinance, a resolution for our conditional use permit, but we are still governed by this. This is in the city code. It doesn't, so we wouldn't be required to stop at 10 on Sunday, as was in there. It's 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is the quiet time for that, but again, we're not open after 10 p.m. So if P&Z wanted to put something in for that, we'd be fine with that, because we're already bound by the code. Gosh, there was something else. Oh, yeah. Well, I know a little about that. I am the Lake County Water Authority's board attorney, and they don't have any planning and zoning participation at this moment. It's actually been discussed with the county commission that on water dependent, water adjacent issues, that they get a seat at the table, at least at the DRS staff review level, but that doesn't exist right now. So the water authority has no way to weigh in comment wise, and they don't have any jurisdiction. They're not a permitting authority at all. It's just, it's straight St. John's and or DEP, and in this case, DEP has transferred all those permitting authorities to St. John's for this kind of a project.
All right.
I have a question. I'm trying to find definition of place of public entertainment. I'm not trying to split hairs or anything. When I looked at it originally and this discussion came up, I kind of thought to myself, I don't consider this a place of public entertainment, because it's not a venue. Well, it could be a venue for things, but it's a restaurant by and large.
Yes, and
So-
it's not a venue for any kind of those activities.
Well, right.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So maybe we should put it back in just to make sure.
I don't know.
We're fine with it. It's not our intent to get around it at all. Good point.
All right. Staff have anything to add to that? All right. Commissioner May, were those all of your questions?
Yes, for now, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
And honestly, for that issue, staff, we probably ought to look at defining that or adding food and entertainment or something like that into there. Because it's
And, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
food and entertainment into the noise code that says places of entertainment right now.
So you plan to have entertainment? The way
I-
you said it, you said.
Right. Our
entertainment.
plan
Sorry,
is to
Chairman, I
continue
should ask.
doing exactly what we are doing. And that would involve weekend, afternoon, and evening entertainment, singer-songwriter type stuff. They don't even bring their own amplification. They go through the speakers that we have that play not elevator music, but Jimmy Buffett music all day long. Plug and play.
Okay, I'm going to start at my far left with Commissioner Tadone, and then we'll work our way across, okay? Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a couple of questions, concerns. You did say that you don't anticipate any watercraft at all approaching and/or mooring to this deck.
That's correct. It's prohibited. Now, boats can pull up in the water to the shore, and nobody has jurisdiction to prevent that. We can't, the city can't.
Okay,
But they can't
so-
attach to any of our property.
Okay. What is the shore? And the reason why I asked that is I went on to John Lake's site. So currently, the lake is at 94 feet.
Okay, right.
The average height is 102 feet. So I'm not an engineer, I'm certainly not a lawyer.
Right.
Okay? What's the shore?
The shore is the ordinary high water line, but for purposes of St. John's permitting and the deck setback, and I think it's like 98. Don't please hold me
You're
to that.
fine.
I can find out, but I believe that's what that is for.
All right, but there's a difference between bringing my kayak or my skidoo here and here.
Absolutely.
Okay. And again, I don't know where
Yeah.
I'm going with it, that's part one. Part two is, I don't know if that water gets any higher to go underneath the deck.
Yeah.
So we might have to be,
It's from the ordinary, well, first of all, it's 20 feet high at the end. So if water did come up, there would not be any flooding or erosion problem. But it is measured from the ordinary high water line, the setbacks are. And as you know, you've been here long enough to see hurricanes where it goes way up. We're not within the 100-year floodplain. And you probably weren't here in the late 90s when it went down and they found planes in Lake Louisa from World War I because
Right.
it went so dry.
all right, but with all due respect, this is happening, these two pictures are within a year of each other.
Okay,
Of
yes.
how, showing the water fluctuation of just how different kinds of gates are opening and how water is, I'm getting a
Right.
whole lesson on how water travels through Florida.
Right.
Okay, but you're aware that this water level could rise?
Yes.
Okay.
But, and regulatory wise, for both the city and St. John's, we work off that OHWL, that ordinary high water line.
Okay.
And that's what the setbacks are figured from, and then the 100-year flood where we can't put any actual seating within the 100-year flood.
Okay, so next question, do the trees stay?
Yes, trees are not coming out. And if I may, one of the big issues with St. John's was they wanted to prohibit boat mooring over on the eastern edge of our property where there is native vegetation and grasses in there, and we agreed to do that. The 150 feet in the middle is just sand. It's been there probably because boats have been pulling up there for 30 years. But that's the only spot where boats are allowed to pull up. We've got signage that we've got to put up that prohibits them from pulling up or mooring into the grassy areas.
Okay, so part of my other concerns come from the State of Florida Erosion and Sediment Control Designer and Reviewer Manual. And in that manual, I picked out some stuff that just came glaring to me. There is soil classification, texture, and permeability that kind of needs to be done, or it's highly suggested that it's done. Was that done? Do we know what kind of soil is under there? Because, and with all due respect,
Sure.
when you read this, it doesn't sound like anything's been done. And that's a huge concern for me, all right? The other thing is, and I'm sorry for skipping around.
Nope.
You've got 104 tables at 4 people per table, not including servers, not including the guy with the guitar. That's a 21,000-pound static load on something. When I read here, I don't see a soil classification, texture, permeability study. I'm not too sure what kind of posts you're putting into the ground. In the diagram, they're actually staggered. So again, I'm not an engineer. There's no talk about erosion control, about putting in plants, rip-wrap, or geotextile fabric. Is this marine-grade, high-density plastic that's going in the ground and on the deck? Or are we talking a wooden deck?
Well, it is wood, and again, this was all permitted through St. John's and then through site plan approval with the city. We have to have the engineering reports. I can send you the St. John's permit that will answer many of these questions. The soil tests were done. It's sandy down to a clay layer that's like 25 feet down. And that was all considered by St. John's when they made us revise our stormwater plan and put in the underground French drains, or whatever you want to call them, and that type of stuff. So it is all analyzed by the city and by St. John's, but not at this stage.
How are you cleaning any garbage underneath the deck?
I'll let Catherine or...
Because when you look at the drawing, that deck is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 70 feet long and 22 feet into the towards the water.
Towards the water, yes.
So the one thing nobody ever takes into account, and I'm sorry, and I've said this multiple times, is human nature. So here I come, and I got a napkin, I want to put it through a slit, I throw a bottle of, an empty bottle, underneath the deck or whatever it is. How are you policing that deck, under the deck, to make sure that stuff doesn't get into the lake?
Yeah, come forward and give a name and
Hi, I'm
address and
Catherine
explain how we
Horner,
do it now.
161616 Sounding Shores Drive, Odessa, Florida. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Salt Shack. Thank you for the opportunity to address the question. The wood slats that are going in on the deck are very tight. I don't know the exact measurements off the top of my head, I apologize, but any type of napkin, utensil, anything like that would not be able to fit through. There will be enough of a gap so that water could flow through, but if there's any trash that comes through the deck, would be coming maybe off the sides. And we police the property on checklist with the staff in the morning and at night. I hope that you've had the opportunity to be on property, but we take the cleanliness of the community very seriously. We have been had the most hospitality we could have asked for coming into the Clermont community, and we want nothing but to make sure that the community is 100% premier. So if there was an opportunity for trash to come off of the dock, just like the patio that we have now and the rest of the outdoor seating that we have on the park side of the building, it's monitored throughout the shift before and after. So you have my commitment and the rest of our staff that if there was a trash problem, it wouldn't become an issue.
Okay. So
Thank you.
during construction, the State of Florida Erosion and Sediment Control Designer and Reviewer Manual does suggest some sort of floating turbidity barrier to prevent debris from going into the lake.
Sure.
And they even recommend a bright color to alert boaters to it, so this way they don't get tangled up. In that manual on page 72, it actually shows you a picture of a typical setup. You're adhering to all of that.
And I do not know what floating barrier requirements that St. John's has.
Okay.
I know we have a silt fence requirement that is up on the sand before.
That's on the sand, right.
Before we get there. So hopefully, everything that comes off the construction, which is still 20 feet away from there, it gets caught by the silt fence and never gets into the
All right,
lake.
so that's not really a, yes, that's what we're doing, though, even though it's
I
in the
don't
manual.
know the answer.
Okay,
I really
that's
don't.
fine.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
All of we spent almost a year and met on site with the team from St. John's on property, myself, the owners, our architect, working to make sure that we could meet all of the expectations of the code for St. John's.
Right.
And there's multiple things that are in the plan, for safety, making sure we have signs so that boaters don't try to tie up to the dock. There's a list of things that are part of the architectural plan that we will definitely make sure that we meet all codes. And we have their commitment that they will be on inspecting to make sure that all of those are fulfilled prior to us actually seeding the dock. So, I'm not sure what the reputation is that precedes St. John's, but the interactions that I've had with them, they've been very intense as far as what their expectations are with this deck. So,
Okay.
I believe that we have met all of the codes and will ensure before we open that part of the property, in the event that we get the permission to do so, that we'll meet all the codes that are in the contract that we signed with them.
Okay. And again, I'm not trying to overstep my bounds, and I'll close this up as quickly as I can. I guess part of some of the concerns are the pylons and the soil, so we're not shifting, right? I realize you're not underwater, maybe you're not getting hit by a wave, but between the riprap, which is a type of concrete, or different kind of plants to keep that soil from eroding over time. I mean, everything looks wonderful 6 months from now, but God willing.
Planting.
Okay, so,
We made commitments with St. John's that if.
so that this
we-
way we
if-
could keep the soil.
Yeah, and if we disturb anything during construction, we have already committed to replanting. They'll come in, inspect before, mid-construction, and after. And if we have disturbed anything, we've already made the commitment to replant or do whatever we need to do in the midst of any disruption during construction. Because
Okay.
I'm not really sure exactly how much we have to plant, but I know it's in the final permit with them.
Okay. One of the last things I just want to touch upon, item 21 talks about a fish and wildlife survey, or a take about fish and wildlife that are in the area. Is that something that you did? Is there a study that was taken care of? Is it something?
I'm sorry, 21 in the CUP
No,
itself?
page 39.
Okay.
Sorry, page 39 on Exhibit A, number 21. This permit does not authorize the permittee to
Oh,
cause any
St. John's
impact.
permit. Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
sorry
I
about
didn't
that.
have that. Okay.
My bad.
21, this permit doesn't. Yeah, it does not authorize us to cause any adverse impact or take of any listed species. Yeah, the only one that we would have down there might have been a gopher tortoise, and we don't have any down
Okay,
there.
nothing in the water?
No,
Nothing
absolutely
hanging
not.
out in the trees?
No,
Nothing.
Spanish moss.
Spanish moss?
And I did forget to address Commissioner May's comment about selling incidentals like ice and bait. We don't want to do any of that. We do sell ice, but you have to buy it in a glass with some beverage in it. And the only bait we would sell would be if you want to pay $25 for a coconut shrimp. You can use them however you want after that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Insua.
Thank you, Chair. Oh, Jimmy, I've missed your jokes. Very good.
Well, I'm glad somebody does, because
Yeah.
I don't get that much.
Okay, so I appreciate you guys coming and giving us your presentation. I only have a couple questions. I don't really have anything from a coding perspective, but more so from a structural perspective. Just to double check and for confirmation for us all, this deck is not covered, correct?
It is not.
Okay.
No.
Now, I guess my second question is, for the wood that's being used for the deck expansion, is it uniform in comparison to the one that's currently there?
I don't know the answer. You mean uniform meaning matching?
Yeah, matching, same thing, that kind of.
Yes. It was
Okay.
actually part of the original plan, but we were not able to get permitting done with St. John's prior to opening in
Yeah.
February of 2024.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay, that's those were the two big things, and they're not dings per se, but just things that I would keep in mind. Okay, thank you.
Certainly. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Nemec.
Well, First of all, Jimmy, I gotta say, in all the years I've been up here, every time you come up here, something gets changed. And for once, it's not your fault. All right? For once, it's not your fault because
Thank you.
I just received this with a bunch of changes on it.
Uh-huh.
So my whole weekend studying this is out the door.
Yep.
Okay.
Certainly for section 1, which is old Lily's language we don't want anything to do with.
I'm good with that. Real quick question.
Yes, sir.
All right. You know we got DPZ. You know we got Meet Me in the Middle.
Yes.
Actually, it's for the managers. Did you guys consult with them of what they might want, what direction Clermont downtown is going with?
I'm sorry, I don't know if I understand the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me try to put it more in layman terminology.
Sorry.
We spent a lot of money for DPZ.
There are the planners that are revising.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry. They
comprehensive
didn't know what
plan,
that was.
especially the
Okay.
downtown part.
I got you now. I'm sorry. Because I didn't know what that was in the beginning either, so we're
Yeah.
on the same page.
No, my apologies.
No, don't apologize. I'm same way. So we spent a lot of money, and we're still spending money on their insight, what direction Clermont should take. Okay? And then we have Meet Me in the Middle, which we're going back and forth every single council person. Okay? Did you consult with them on this, or you guys just ran with it yourself?
I did not consult with
Okay.
the Planning and Zoning Committee prior to the plans that we have in front of you, no.
Okay, maybe you got me.
We
Jim,
worked
you want to
through
explain to
staff
her? You
to-
worked through staff only?
To do
Right,
that.
so
And-
you didn't,
And I'm certain that this has been a conversation among the planning folks. Maybe staff could discuss that, but we haven't been involved in any of that with DPC directly.
okay. We just came up here with full disclosure that my chairperson says I should have said it when I introduced myself. I did speak with some of the neighbors surrounding Lily's on the Lake. I spoke with one of them, Miss Charlene Forth, about this project. I spoke with other neighbors that I can't identify right now because I didn't write their names down, and they're very concerned about the safety and the parking situation. So that's my disclosure. I would like also the Planning and Zoning Department to give me any disclosure if you discuss this with Meet Me in the Middle or the DPZ. So you want this man to answer it, or should we get it from the director?
No worries. Kurt Henschel, the Planning Development Services Director. We clearly pointed out this location, what it was, how they were operating, how they incorporated it into their plans. It doesn't affect Meet Me in the Middle. That's a separate piece of property. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for or not, but they're
Oh,
aware.
I'm not
of
looking
this.
for it. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Meet Me in the Middle is right, they're concerned about the deck. And that
Right.
deck, that dock deck is,
No, it does not interfere with the existing, the
Okay.
dilapidated one, or if we put a new one in. This is a completely different project, different location. It will not interfere.
did you communicate with DPZ about this, or you didn't have the time to?
We told them that this is where they were operating.
Do they
I
know
didn't
about
say
this
the
extension of the deck?
No,
That's,
no.
that's what I meant to.
Okay, I got you.
That's what I meant to say.
I'm not aware if they
trying to
know
throw a trick
specifically
question.
about the deck, that's all.
Okay, you answered it fairly. Thank you, Kurt. All right. Kurt, can I ask you another question? I'm sorry, I don't mean. I looked at my packet. In my packet, I found three things that were different. Number one, when I go online to look at the packet, there's a lot more information about the deck itself that's not in the physical packet, like the pillars that are going into the ground and all that. Why is that?
Let me look
To
into it.
save paper?
I'm not sure right now.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me, so I'll get back
Would
to
you
you.
know that answer?
Well, here's, we got our plans in there that this was in my packet, but I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that we don't always put all the engineering plans in, because they still have.
It was in
it's
the
not been
packet
approved.
online. That's what I'm saying, because
Okay.
I'm going back. See, here's the problem. Sometimes I get it online first and I read it,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I get my packet, I'm pulling my hair out like, I just saw this page. Where is it?
Okay,
That's why I'm questioning
you.
that. That's number one.
okay.
Number two is your diagrams, and I said it time and time when I sit on this commission. Your diagram on page, here we go, page 17. okay, all right, I'm from New York City, I'm sorry, all right? Is there a high tide or low tide on this lake? Okay, because the lake,
No.
okay, that's, okay, I don't want, well, it was like the chicken and the egg that I asked 2 years ago.
It all depends on St. John's and whether or not they want to open up a weir on Cherry Lake.
That's where I was going at, staff. Okay? Shouldn't not be listening to them right now because I'm not addressing them, I'm sorry. According to this picture, their property line is right on the shoreline. According to the interactive map with Lake County, their property line is approximately 15 to 20 feet in the lake. Which one's right?
The yellow line is a general, just a general location, yes.
Okay, so I guess like interactive Lake County map
It's a
would be
bit
more accurate
right.
because
We're
they
just
go.
trying to give you a location of general.
Okay, because that right off the bat looks deceiving to me,
Yeah.
especially when I get these plans that do not show the size of the deck itself in feet. Okay, and that's not your fault. You didn't design these plans. I'm just saying. See,
Yeah,
these
I
are the
understand.
questions I have when I'm sitting at home over my weekend, looking at it, saying, but where? And I even looked online. Where is the dimension? How far does this go back from the restaurant so I could go on the interactive Lake County map to see how deep it's going into the lake? All right? I'm sorry, I'm trying to save my integrity up here without being nasty like I was accused.
Yeah.
But this is how I am and this is how I talk. So I'm Italian also, all right? So I'm not yelling, I'm talking.
I understand.
And I'm not disrespecting, I'm
Commissioner,
just,
you-
we know each other for a very long time, Jimmy.
Absolutely. I talk plainly and I'll answer as plainly
You would be
as I
more
can.
insulted if I just voted yea or nay without asking questions.
I would be disappointed.
And I'm not trying to steal the show from any one of my commissioners, but I'm just being honest. May I ask, continue with my questions, unless you have a comment to come back? But, all right, because I'm not putting you on the spot, Mr. Henschel. It sounds like I am, but I'm just confused with your picture, which is an estimation, and the actual picture from the interactive map. Because if I had the specs of this deck, I could actually go from the roof line and see how far into the lake they're going. Right now, I gotta use my imagination, and honestly, I gotta base a decision tonight on advising the council what to do. All right? To the staff, how many tables are inside? Jimmy? Or one of the managers?
Kevin, how many tables do y'all have now?
32.
You have 32 tables inside. How many is on the outside deck right now that's covered?
How many tables? 15.
15. And you want to add another 104?
Yeah. Come, not tables. 26.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So that's what I meant to ask. Thank you for correcting me, because I was wrong. How many seats do you have inside?
Total seats?
Yes,
There are
total
four-
seats,
four
just,
tops, yeah, so there'll be 120.
oh, wow.
And
Big
then some
difference
on the deck that exists now.
And how many,
That's with bar stools.
oh, Jimmy, thank you for reading my mind. How many, I didn't catch that, I was too busy talking to you. How many chairs are on the inside deck?
On the inside.
Well,
Outside the covered deck, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused, I need coffee.
And does that include the ones on the east in the sand?
No, there's 60, so seats. There's 60 seats on the covered patio that goes around. And then there's 15 picnic tables that are out that you see on the Parkside area that technically seat 4, but you could squeeze 5 on there, but
So we're looking at, what, 60 more on the
yeah,
sand?
I would say on an average 60 seats.
Okay, so we got that's 120, that's 240. And now you want to add additional 104 seats?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no, good, thank you. All right, so out of 240 seats, how many staff members do you have? Waiters, dishwashers?
Total or
A
normally
total,
on a shift?
total. You don't have to
we-
break it down for me.
Come up and speak here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, they can't hear you on
Yeah.
TV land.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an average, because I don't have the exact numbers, but I think we have roughly 55 servers. and then we have 10 bartenders, so that's 60, and then we have 15 people that work in the kitchen, different positions. So 65 to 75 would be my average of like hourly employees. And then we have 5 members of the management staff.
50 to 75 on a daily basis, working,
No, sir, like
that's what-
totally employed.
totally employed.
Yes.
Okay, okay, I got that. So let me ask you a question. How many are working in one day?
It all depends
Out of
on
75.
lunch, dinner, you know, whether it's a weekday, weekend. But I would say on average, probably 30 employees all day.
30. So we got 240 plus 104 more seats, plus another 30 for staff members. So if my quick calculation goes right, that's 307, close to 375 more additional total parking spots. All right, no, not the additional, but we're looking at that.
Right.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, you could cut me off again, but I'm just gonna keep going on and on. All right, because Ms. Commissioner May did the setback, so we'll save some time on that one. So where I'm going is the parking. All right, for the people out there listening, now you wanna know why Clermont is broke. Because there are rules. Think about it, okay? And I can't deny you for this because it's a rule that the city developed, the council developed. Sorry, I'm not picking on my staff. You're talking about 8 people, and you only have to pay for 1 parking spot. And the parking spot is $3,000. Now, here's the best part. I know because I sat in those seats many times where we beg and lease parking. We're paying a lot more. You're paying $39,000, let's say. And I'm not picking on you, please. I'm just very bitter with this formula. $39,000, a one-time deal for life. Okay? For life. So now you can understand why when I talk to these residents on the surrounding, and I'm not just doing it for your restaurant, you could ask anybody here. I go around and do my homework. I find out what the public wants. And they're very upset about that, especially when the city council keeps kicking the can down the road for a parking garage. I would really want to have a problem with this parking if we had a parking garage right here in the backyard. But they're kicking the can. So right now we have a problem. That's why I asked the earlier question, did you actually get a chance to talk to the DPC department or meet me in the middle for their ideas for parking? Because that's what I'm trying, look, I'm trying to come to a compromise with you, okay? And that's what I'm trying to do, all right? Your staff answered, okay? Now, here's a big thing. This is what's in my realm. Entertainment. I just had a citizen come up there and said she was walking with Mr. Morris, and he heard loud music a block away. Is that the same PA system you plan to use for this guitarist?
So the music that we have currently isn't going to change with the deck. So currently we have a speaker system where we have speakers that play music that you can hear on the patio, you can hear in the parkside picnic tables and inside. So we have like it's called Rockbot. This is probably way too much information, but we basically choose a genre of music like Jimmy Buffett Essentials, plays over the speakers. So on Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday, we have live music that comes in, which is generally like one band member that has an acoustic guitar. He plugs into those same speakers. The volume is set by the management team. It doesn't change whether it's Jimmy the guitar player or it's the Jimmy Buffett Essentials. It all plays on the same music system, so it's not going to change, and we're not going to add additional music for the deck. It's going to be the same music system that we put in with the original
And it has to
construction.
be at a volume where the other side of the property, most of the property doesn't even know there's live music because it's so low. You're trying to enjoy your meal. You're on the other side of the property. It doesn't get loud. They don't do happy birthdays, so they don't even know. There's no breaks.
And it's really just meant to be background music.
That's all it is.
So
It's like the
what-
Bahama Breeze, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that.
And
Trust me.
I'm sorry, Jeremy, name and address for the record.
I'm sorry, Jeremy Darden, 1076 Golden Dawn Loop, Mineola, Florida.
Mineola, right, our neighbor, good, cool. All right, so really, I get it. I go into restaurants, violinists playing, this and that, that's for the restaurant thing. But the music, that citizen came up, or the resident came up and said they heard music a block away. That was on your beach, you saying? The beach there, the
From a-
picnic
coming
table?
From a boat or something.
Okay, because this is my realm, because I used to have a business like that. When musicians play, they usually have a monitor. So you're going to have something in writing. You're telling me that they're not going to have a monitor where they could hear themselves or amplify their voice. No additional PA system but the one you're using.
They have their monitor only, and it faces them. That's all they use.
And there won't be an additional musician with the additional.
That's just on the deck. I'm more worried about,
We're not gonna put an extra person out on this new deck.
I mean, I can't say anything, but I'm just,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm focusing on the deck, so I'll leave that
Yeah,
alone.
yeah.
There will be
Okay,
no additional entertainment for the deck.
And Commissioner, let me jump in there for a second, because that's already allowed in our conditional
I know.
use
That's
permit
why
that
I
we
didn't go there,
currently
Jimmy.
have.
Yeah.
And there's a code that governs it, and there's our CUP that governs it. We're not asking for anything additional for that.
Jimmy, you know as well as I do, I could walk down Main Street a certain amount of time.
Sure.
And you know that everybody goes, sometimes they push the rules to the limit. And I'm being honest.
Well, then
I
that's
come
what
out
code
here
enforcement
sometimes
is for.
at the city center, and I hear the band a block away.
This was blasting loud. This is not.
Ma'am,
No,
please, you had your turn.
You can walk past Corelli's and hear their out.
Correct, that's what I'm
all
trying
day
to say.
long. They're,
I'm not here to argue with this, I'm just telling you. I mean, when you tell me there's rules set, it's in writing, come on, Jimmy.
well, that's all we can go by, are those rules.
Yeah, well, I agree. I definitely concur with you on that one. I'm almost done, okay? Private parties. You're telling me this huge deck you're gonna have. You're not gonna have one private party at all.
No.
Not a Christmas party,
I'm not
not a New Year's Eve party.
No, I'm not in the business of doing large parties. We have never done a large event in the other property that we have in Tampa, which is a 3-acre property on the ocean. We've never done a wedding, we've never done a private party. It's just, we don't even have a menu.
What
for it.
about
We
your,
have to cut out.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
That's
Yes,
okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize, should let you finish. I apologize. What about in the future? You're here telling me this now. What happened? All right, bye, I'm working for the competition. I got a new manager come here.
Events aren't allowed. They're not allowed under this.
So wasn't stripping, but Lily's on the Lake had it.
Yeah, we're not.
So
doing
wasn't
this.
midget tossing, but they didn't, they had
We've been
it.
here now over 2 years, and we would stand on our reputation in the community and at large. Part of this is about supporting businesses that are already here and allowing them to do what they need to expand within reason and to thrive.
Jimmy, can you explain to me, because you know downtown just as good, much better than I do, where there is someplace, another restaurant in the CBD? Okay, I'm sorry, you know.
CRA.
Central Business District.
Central, yes,
CBD.
yeah, CBD.
Yes.
Where there is approximately 375 seating.
I would think if you take the
Because this
brewery
is-
here, Sun Creek combined with in the same building with Pepe's, I think there's at least that or more. And they have loud music and amplified loud
Well,
music.
that's one of the problems we have, but, I'm not in the code enforcement. All right, you answered that question, that's a positive, all right, I'll give you that. Miss Jenny May was perfect on the setback. Can somebody answer my question that it's not on this conceptual plan, and I know that's not mandatory, but what is the length of this deck, for my own curiosity?
And there's a dimensional plan that,
Think he's mad at me? You don't have to rip it out of your book.
yeah, well, I'm gonna have to hand it to you because I
Yeah,
can't-
thank you. So
can't
now,
read
it's
it.
not me. I can't read it either
I
if
can't
you
read
handed it to me.
It's approximately.
Does the management know how the,
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I know I have a plan on my laptop. I just don't have it with me.
Okay.
But the dimensions are, it's really hard to read in this packet, which, don't hold it against me. I did not create this packet, but.
I could pull up the dimensions on
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
laptop.
oh, staff has it?
2911.
If staff has it, why wasn't it in my packet?
It's in the packet, but I can magnify it.
Where,
It's hard to read in that
It's a site
packet.
plan.
Length is 47 plus 29. That's 66.
47
But that would be
feet?
29 towards the water,
Yeah.
right?
No, well,
You gave me the square footage. I want the length, left to right. I basically want from south to north. I want to know exactly how much is
Okay,
going to my lake.
south to north?
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
No, it's okay, I'm just.
You see where I'm going at?
32 and 7/8, it looks like, 30.
All right, let's say 32, and I'll give you the extra 7/8. All right.
Okay.
I don't have time to go and look on my computer because I'm not allowed to have my computer with me. I have to use what's in front of me as quote. All right, and the last thing I have, somebody justify this for me, please. I'm looking at this St. John's Water Management letter. It's dated June 27th, 2025. Today is 2026, so you're telling me you proposed this plan I'm holding in my hand to St. John's Waters, or were you proposing the picnic tables and the covered?
No, it's the plan for the deck,
So you had this planned all along buying Salt Shack?
yes.
Yes, and
It was
as,
part of
as
the
they
original
said,
plan that we.
yeah, we
what
tried to do
submitted
it with
to
the
city.
original CUP revision, but our St. John's was a year and a half still out. So,
We just got the same.
I'm trying, this is
in
great.
Q4.
Okay, I'm sorry, let me just shut up. Okay. Thank you, thank you.
thank you.
All
You
right,
good?
the DBZ I asked, the valet, oh, are you gonna be having valet service for parking?
No, we don't have any plans to do valet right now.
Right now,
I mean,
in the
if there was
future?
some reason why it would be better for the customers and the community, we would do
See,
valet, but we've never done it before. and
See,
I
the
don't have
question,
any
the reason why I'm asking these questions about the future,
plans. Yeah.
Mr. Herschel could tell you, I sit here, I state my cases, and because it's not in writing, they could get away with it. Because it wasn't in writing. So by telling me this, don't mean nothing. It's not even a handshake. All right? I want to see it in black and white.
As for the valet, is that a positive or a negative? I don't.
That's a major negative.
To have a
Because now
valet?
you're hiring a second source to park a car wherever he wants. This is I know about valet parking.
Mm-hmm.
I know very good about valet parking. All right? And I'm telling you right now, valet, that's a negative to me, Jimmy. Where they going to park?
We do it in our past, in our.
No, I understand that, ma'am, and I agree with you. I looked at your Tampa Bay area. This is not Tampa, this is Clermont. And this is a protected lake. Okay? And I'm not trying to score brownie points. I am not. I sit in that council for many, many years, and I hear the residents come up like that gentleman over there and state his concerns. Jimmy, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you were on the other side of this podium about the lakes.
Absolutely, I completely understand.
I'm sorry to hold you up, Commissioner Gramer, but these are the things I just want to get off, and thank you, Chairperson, for letting me have more time.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, may I ask a quick question? I know it's a
To
little
me?
weird.
Sure, go ahead.
What neighbors, I'd like to know what neighbors you talk to and where they live, because there are no close neighbors to this. There's one rental house about 200 yards away, and the next person is a quarter mile.
I didn't say house, Jimmy.
You said
I said
neighbors.
residents.
You
Neighbor,
said
neighbor,
neighbors.
okay. I'm sorry, you're right. I stand corrected. I meant residents in Clermont.
I understand.
People that walk by,
Yes,
okay?
okay.
It's because when I received this packet, I received the old resolution. So when I saw the word weddings,
Freaked
it
you
was a
out.
definite no.
I completely get it. Yeah.
So actually, wasted my time, but when I asked all those questions to those people, first question, where are they gonna park? And that's why I asked the questions, and I wanna thank both of you for being as honest as possible. I don't find that in certain individuals lately. Okay, I'm gonna refrain if I have any questions. Thank you for being very patient with me, Mr. Chairperson.
I'm working on my patience, Vinny. I'm working on it.
I know. So is Evo.
Commissioner Kramer.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the applicant's investment in our downtown waterfront and the continued vitality of the CBD. This amendment does not expand the use of that category, expands seating, and that's important. I was there on opening day, and I believe we had a rather long discussion. I live close. I walked down to be there. In fact, I was there for the opening ceremony and then came back and ate later in the day.
Yeah.
Where, and I'm pretty sure it was you that explained to me how soon we're gonna have a deck coming, and kind of walked me through that whole plan. So I know that from my own personal experience, that from opening day, that's always been in your intent, and you said that you were struggling with St. John's water management. I'm actually working right now myself, and I understand that frustration of working with multiple permitting. And in fact, I was here at City Hall the other night doing just that, to do some permitting, and I know how difficult that can be. So I have a few questions, and truly mine, I hope you take it in this, I'm asking questions for the record. So I was looking at your maps, and the plan appears to show approximately 92 seats, but the staff report references 104 seats for the parking calculation. So can staff clarify how the number was derived and whether the 104 represents the maximum potential seating capacity rather than the furniture layout that I saw in the plans?
That was, the number of 104 came from our application.
Okay.
But that also will be figured out in the site plan approval
Okay.
process of what the final seating count would be, which will then be calculated to know what that parking fund contribution would be.
Thank you. The report referenced a prior noise complaint resolved with mechanical sound blankets. Has the staff received any complaints related to live music?
We checked with the police department, and in the last 12 months, they have received 0 complaints.
So you've had 0 complaints about live music, but we're concerned about the noise. People need to complain if there's really a problem, more than just Charlene coming in here and representing the area, and I appreciate it. I have the utmost respect. Then Charlene, I'm going to, or to the audience, I'm going to suggest making complaints so that they're on file when these things happen, rather than putting one citizen out here.
They don't have a meter, so there was no reason to call them anymore.
Okay.
They don't have the meters.
Keep calling, because I'll keep asking for a meter.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when I read the noise ordinance, I don't know why, like section 18-23, I don't know if anyone can hear me on this thing. 18-23 subsection A says, it shall be unlawful for any person to produce, cause to be produced, et cetera, any sound, I'm sorry, actually go subsection B, because that's where it talks about the following specific uses, activities, and circumstances are declared to be in violation of this article. And then it talks, subsection 1 talks about exterior loudspeakers, musical instruments, stuff like that, and what it actually prohibits is noise beyond a property line. It doesn't say anything about time, it doesn't say anything about decibels. It says that it's illegal for the noise to go beyond the property line. So if that's what someone's interpretation is, it's not correct, you don't need a meter. So we'll have to talk about that and figure it out if that's what they told you.
We're gonna do an ordinance.
Yeah. And what I would say to Attorney Waugh, who's very good at what he does, and I don't like to argue municipal law with him because I usually lose, is that the specific would control over the general, and 11 that specifically says in places of public entertainment, those are the restrictions. So it's not a model of clarity, and we'll cooperate with cleaning it up any way that we can. I would say anybody in downtown that is trying to listen to our music, the brewery's music is going to totally drown us out before we get to Mineola Street.
Thank you. And we've got bigger problems coming when we talk about sound. When the lumberyard comes in, that's going to dynamically change things, but that's a different issue.
True.
So this is for staff. Can staff confirm that the amendment does not expand the allowable use category, only the seating area?
After the correction that was made to the resolution, correct, yeah, it's just
Okay.
only the seating area.
So I want to just make sure any future seating increase would require additional cup amendment, correct?
From what is approved, yes.
Correct. Okay. Seems like a pretty straightforward conditional use permit amendment, and it modifies the seating capacity, but it doesn't alter the underlying land use. So I want to support this, and I just want to go on the record saying that as long as everything that's been represented to me has been true so far, I think I could support this. I'm concerned about the noise. Counselor brings up a very good point, and that gives us an opportunity to look at things from a different perspective. But I think that the original intent when you guys went in here originally was to have that deck there, and we're just finally closing that door. And if you had that permitting several years ago, this would already be done. So that's all the questions I have, Chairman.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Kramer. I just have one additional question at this point. I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to hear from the applicant that in this new structure, there's nothing being put in that's going to create additional noise. There's no speakers. Can you just confirm that for me?
Yes, I'll let the horse's mouth to confirm it.
Yeah, there's no additional, it's just the deck and the seating. I mean, we may put some oscillating fans on the post, but they don't make any noise.
Right,
But that'd be the only other thing.
No
I could
speakers
think of.
or anything that's going to create
No.
extra noise. Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. Any additional questions from the commissioners at this point before we consider a motion? We are all satisfied?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Mayhew. Question in regards to prior to opening the salt shack. The property, the parking lot that is right next to your property right now, is that owned by the salt shack or is that city property?
Yeah, that is city property.
And how many spaces are in that?
The small
Oh,
lot.
the small lot. I'm sorry.
Is that what you were
is our
referring to,
property.
Commissioner May? The small lot.
Yes, the small lot that's attached to, that you go in and out right next to the salt shack.
Yeah, I misunderstood, and I don't know much about that parking lot because I can never park there.
It is part of, we're the leaseholder, it is part of our property.
Yes.
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 How many spaces do we have in that?
27.
27 on the record.
And was there any, I just want to make sure on the record, was there any parking fund that was required prior to Salt Shack being in there? Was there any parking fund that was paid into, or was that just?
Yeah, there was
hey, I
not.
opened and-
Lily's on the Lake got a variance from the parking requirements, and that ran with the land. So there was a variance for the initial parking, and I don't even think there was a parking fund to pay into when Lily started, but there is now.
So you're saying that the parking ran with the land?
The parking variance, yes, ma'am.
So, Attorney Wah, what does that basically mean? So it means that they can just move in and use the parking without any further parking requirements based on that running with the land?
I'm not sure that I understand the question, but nothing has ever done away with the variance. You know, the variance still applies. It hasn't been revoked or amended. So I haven't seen the variance, so that's why I'm not sure how to answer your question. All I can say is, let's assume that the variance was granted as has been represented on the record, then it has to still apply.
But Commissioner May, we cannot expand on that without either asking for an additional variance or paying into the parking fund.
Got it. So my problem is, and I appreciate Commissioner Nemec's time on his questions. They were very, very good, and I wrote a lot of them down. My concern, and he brought up good points, is that the existing seats right now are at 200 plus.
Plus.
And we're adding an additional 104 seats, which the average 30 employees, that comes out to 374. So if you subtract the 30 employees, I mean, honestly, if you were opening up today, then we would have a parking fund of 43 seats instead of 13 seats. But unfortunately, this is after the fact. My concern is the parking. And of course, somewhat of the no speakers. You know, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I just know that today, you know, I go there and there's music. I'm just scared that, me personally, if we don't put a condition in the ordinance or in the resolution, you know, we could have someone put speakers in the future. Like Commissioner Nemec has stated, a manager could be, you know, you could be beyond, you could get an incredible job and move on, and somebody else gets in and puts speakers in. My other concern is the habitat, you know, the vegetation. You're saying that you're only putting the deck on the side where there's no vegetation. Maybe there was vegetation there before, we don't know, but there's no vegetation now. So I can understand that. We can't go, you know, backwards. I'm just looking forwards. I do want to put a condition, Mr. Chair, in regards to the signage. I know there's signage language in the South Florida Water Management District, but if we can add more signage, I mean, I see boats come up to that shoreline all the time. And I'm just very, very concerned that our shoreline is going to continue to be just not even destroyed is a big word, but it's just going to be completely unprotected, just based on no enforcement on that, you know, from the boats. So I'm still kind of on the fence right now in regards to this, you know, because I'm looking at our, you know, permit criterias, you know, and I can go over it again. You know, granting a permit criteria is number one, will not adversely affect the officially adopted comp plan of the city. That's a question mark because of the environmental issues that I think might still be questionable there. Such use will not be detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare of persons residing or working in the vicinity. Maybe it's a safety issue, maybe because of all the boats and stuff that will be coming because of the increased number of seats. The use will comply with the current regulations, conditions specified in our codes. Mr. Crawford has done a well job, you know, talking about the codes, and then the proposed use may be considered desirable at the particular location. You know, is it desirable? It's popular, but I'm still on the fence in regards to 1 and 2. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Ms. Mick, can you clarify? Are you suggesting that the signage be in a motion, be part of, be added to approval? Is that what you're looking for? You're looking to take it up as?
If there was a motion right now, yes, I would like the signage that the wording that's in the South St. John's Water Management District. Let's see what it's. It is. I think it's number 24. It's the permittee shall install permanent no mooring signs as shown on the plans. But I would like to extend that to some of the other areas where the vegetation is as well.
All right. Well, let me see if there's any more comments, and then I will give you the opportunity to make a motion if you wish. Are there any more? Are you done, Commissioner May? Was there anything else?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Anybody else have any comments? All right. At this time,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was being
Go.
gentlemanlike. And
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry 'cause
Go ahead.
You got a hot date. I got to ask this question. Since you're adding 104 seats, additional 104 seats, which will probably be turned over 3 or 4 times a day. Okay.
Hope so, yeah.
Well, for their sake, that's going to create a lot more roughage. Are you going to be getting another dumpster for this? Because it's pretty much a third of what you're handling right now. That's my question. I didn't see it in my packet, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, after knowing you, between the patio,
And the conditional use permit just doesn't address any
Doesn't-
of that. It's site.
Yeah, I know,
plan
I know,
level
I know,
approvals.
that's-
We're here to
okay.
just ask for,
I know you're asking for a deck, but you're adding 104 more seats.
Right.
That means times that by 3, that comes out to be 312 more dinners. Roughage.
so, I mean, what do you think's gonna happen? We just.
I'm
dump it
just
in the
saying, you
lake?
got this one dumpster, it's gonna
Mr.
overflow.
Crawford, I have heard some questions tonight where I've kind of asked myself, I'm not really sure if this fits the criteria with something that should be considered on a CUP.
Thank you.
But if we look at section 101-212 subsection 7, believe it or not, solid waste disposal, you know, I mean, that's what I take it as his question. So, I mean, I think it's,
I can answer the question.
yeah.
And I will certainly let Catherine do that, but the job of this board is to hear the evidence that is before you at this hearing, not outside the hearing, at this hearing, decide based on competent, substantial evidence if we meet the criteria. The only planning competent, substantial evidence is the staff report that says we are consistent with the comp plan, we meet all the requirements for a conditional use permit. This board, I'm sorry, you can't decide on your own that without competent substantial evidence, you think it doesn't meet them. That, and I'm trying, I don't want to be disrespectful because you guys are volunteers and I wouldn't do it in 100 years. But you are constrained by the code and by the quasi-judicial nature of the hearing. And I'm sorry, I'll let Catherine answer now.
So we have and will continue to increase
Could
the
you come to the
amount.
microphone, because they can't hear you? They
Yeah,
don't.
we have and will continue to increase the amount of pickups from the dumpster area. So we're trying to keep the property looking as good as we can, but if we need to get pickups done every day or multiple times a day, it's just an additional charge from the city, but we have done that and will continue to do that to make sure there's no issue.
Thank you. That's all she had to answer, Jimmy. You didn't have to tell me how to do my job up here. Because I could tell you right now, that was very disrespectful.
I did
Okay?
not
And
mean
do
it.
not threaten me with a lawsuit, because I'll see you in court.
I did not threaten you with
All
a
right? No,
lawsuit.
you've done it in the past. All right? So that was very disrespectful for me. And I don't think I'm going out of my boundaries when I talk to the residents that are concerned about the way they live, where we moved here for. All right? So, Jim, I'm sorry. That was very disrespectful, how you tried to school this old man.
I will apologize
Okay.
if you felt it was disrespectful. I did
Just
not
like the
mean it to be so.
disrespectful, don't New York or Orlando, my Clermont? We have only 2 commissioners here from New York that were preventing overcrowding. All right? So I'm sorry, Jimmy. That was above the waistline. Below the waistline. Why don't you correct me? I'm still your friend. You're not getting Christmas
Mr. Nimitz,
cards, but you're still my
I
friend.
apologize to you personally if you felt that way, but I'm a lawyer, and that's the law.
Right, and I'm a volunteer commissioner, and if I want to ask questions to the residents of Clermont that is concerned about their lake, you're not going to stand there and tell me I only could go what's in this packet, because I just proved to the staff, just by walking in the room, we made a mistake.
Sure.
Oh,
And-
this is not accurate, this is a guesstimation. When I got software at home, I could look at it and tell me exactly where the lake is. I don't have 60 the dimensions of the lake, so I could tell you how deep this is going
Can I
into the
jump in?
lake.
Can I jump in here? I think it's just, it's
Okay,
getting-
you're right. I'm
No,
sorry.
No
Being
offense.
productive.
I have no further
No, it's
questions,
not. But
Mr.
here,
Chair.
if you don't, Mr. Chair, may I?
Go ahead.
Okay. So just a couple things. I mean, first of all, some good legal reminders have been provided by Mr. Crawford, as always. I mean, nothing he said was incorrect. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. We're limited to the evidence. But, you know, the flip side to that is this standard sheet. So we sent you the standard sheet before, hoping that you'll, and I've heard Commissioner May refer to it tonight. I always appreciate that. You have standards that you have to look at when deciding the CUP. And so there's 4 main, just a brief reminder, there's 4 main elements. One is that granting the CUP will not adversely affect the comp plan. 2, such use will not be detrimental to the health, safety, and general welfare. 3, the proposed use will comply with the regs and conditions specified in the code. 4, the proposed use may be considered desirable at the particular location. And that's when your code, this isn't the way how I would write it, but your code provides then 7 other factors. Like, what does it mean to determine whether something's desirable at a particular location? It could mean a million different things. Well, you've got 7 factors. Believe it or not, number 7, solid waste disposal. Commissioner Nemec's favorite question, you know? And when he first started asking it, I was like, I didn't understand why. I couldn't understand why that would be relevant, because that's more of a site plan thing. Lo and behold, it's in the code. Site planning, the development shall be planned and designed to consider building layout. You know, there's a factor about avoidance of environmentally sensitive areas. And so that's why generally I've let you ask the questions that you've asked. I think a lot of people wonder about you have a lot of discretion under this code. But the flip side to what I would tell you is, you remember when Deputy City Manager Dan Mathis came and talked. And what he was talking about is how we develop a front-facing, client-based attitude of public service when we do these hearings. So that's the only thing. I think there's a flip side. Yes, these elements give us the ability the ability to ask questions about all of them, but at the same time, we want to make sure we are the public servants. We serve the people coming here. All right.
Counselor, you're 100% right with Dan Mathis coming here. But see, my customer is not the developers. My customer is the city.
That's true.
The residents. So that should have been answered and told to me at that training meeting as well. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. It's just that I don't want to get confused about this. So I actually do have a question for you real quick. Can you explain to me that there is a difference, just quick yes or no, between a residential noise ordinance and a commercial ordinance? Noise ordinance?
No,
There's no,
not in Clermont. We have one noise ordinance. I mean, maybe I'm missing the question.
the question is, I know, unless it was changed that I don't know of, staff, could you help me on this with the noise decimal with a meter, with the code enforcement going out?
Yes, sir. Chris,
Thank
I
you.
believe what he's referring to, the section that you read is, I believe it was the older section. There is another section, maybe we need to go back to it, but there's a section that talks about decibel readings at property lines. That's what you're referring to.
That's
yes.
true, but it's the maximum noise level.
Correct, right.
Your general prohibition when it comes to the speakers, the musical devices, is property line.
Correct, yes.
All right. All right. Yes, go ahead. Commissioner Tadona.
I'm sorry. I think part of the problem, and I'm sure you'll all jump on me, and that's okay, I don't mind it. We're dealing with a code from 2009. Outside is not 2009. This probably represents 2009. But yet it's okay for me to go take a walk, go talk to people that are living in 2026. Clermont in 2009 is nothing, Clermont 2026 is nothing like the code from 2009. And we are getting our tushies handed to us because you have to approve everything that meets that criteria. I'm not. So if you could do what you got to do with this commissioner, but in my opinion, we have a life safety issue, a quality of life in Clermont that, in my opinion, and again, you could all come after me, supersedes 2009. Because it's 2026 out there, nobody is worrying about human nature, everything is just fine. Everything we always look at is just fine. Everything's going to be fine. But that was 17 years ago. This is 17 years later, and I'm sorry for that, but thank you.
Well, I mean, that raises a point that was raised, which was, you know, the concern about parking. I mean, you all have some discretion to consider parking, but frankly, not in this case. I mean, the code says that the parking is the way, and you already I mean, Commissioner Nemick, to your credit, you up front said that first thing. But, you know, that's the thing, and that was passed last year, and the city council can always change the amount of the money, whatever the charge is, but what we're here for, and I don't want to be taken the wrong way, it's just, you know, the application is fairly simple, you know, in terms of the CUP.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, may I say one thing, and it's not legal, I promise, and it'll be short.
Go ahead.
In 2009, you could set up a card table in the middle of Montrose and have a poker game, and once an hour you might have to move out of the way. There was shuttered businesses. Now we have a vibrant downtown. People come and say, wow, you're better than Winter Garden. I know you hate that comparison, but I hear it because we've got better bones than they do. There's nothing legal about it, but it's supporting an opportunity for residents and business owners in Clermont to continue this revitalization that has been done and that DPZ is all involved in now. It's a wonderful thing. Yes, we need to look at each one carefully and make sure, and we have an antiquated code that doesn't do that very well. That's my spiel. Thank you.
All right, well, let's try to move this along at this point. I will entertain, anything else from council? We good? All right, anything else from anybody?
I'd like
All
to
right.
set a motion, if that's all right with you. Mr.
Go ahead.
Chairman, right?
What is your motion?
I'd like to set a motion this be tabled until they at least communicate with the future plans of the direction of the city of Clermont, since we're going to be spending somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 million when it's all done with the conceptual plans. I mean, that's my opinion. And that's why I would like to set this motion of a table. So that's my first motion. I need a second, I guess.
That is, we have a motion. Is there a second for that
I mean,
motion?
I'm setting a motion to have it tabled, all right, Counselor?
Is that,
Okay, here, I just have a
I see your
question.
brain working on it.
Yeah, every now and then. My question is it your intention of the motion to indefinitely table it or to table it until DPZ? There needs, usually with this kind of a motion, there needs to be either it's indefinite or a time frame.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I said that. I'd like this to be tabled until at least they confront or at least have communication with the DPZ department of their direction. Okay? I mean, Jimmy says that there's no conflict with me in the middle, so does staff. All right, I was going to include that as well, but, I mean, we're still drawing the plans up, spending a lot of money. I would just like to know where, if they could table this, so this way it'd be better in their favor. Trying to help you out there.
I do appreciate that, and I could wait for a second to make our comments, but we would much rather have the vote tonight. We're dying to get this started. And I believe we could certainly talk to DPZ before City Council, and I would commit personally to you to do that. But we would much prefer to move forward tonight.
All right, you
with whatever
stated the
the vote.
case. I have a motion on the floor.
so
Yeah.
that motion is proper?
Yeah, I think it's intelligible.
All right, so we have a motion. Did we have a second? on
I
that?
would second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Any conversation on the motion on the floor? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
I'm an A for this one.
Nay.
Is Commissioner May? willing?
Commissioner May, did you vote on that?
There's a delay, that's why.
Okay, no, yeah, the motion again is that you're tabling for the purpose of them reviewing it prior to going to council, correct?
With
I would like that
DPZ, with DPZ.
Yes, with
No,
the direction
well-
of DPZ. I mean, at least communicate with them to find out what DPZ plans for Clermont, since we're spending all that.
But the motion is to
Okay, what the
table and not take any action
Right, until they have communication. I also want to add to that motion that it doesn't go past the time limit of their letter from St. John's. I believe there's a time limit on it, so I don't want them to go past that and have to refile it for it. I'm not that mean.
Did you want to cast your vote?
I have a question for the attorney,
Go ahead.
to Mr.
well,
Watt, Mr. Watt.
We already have the vote, so.
I didn't vote, so, I vote no then.
That's a deny for the tablement.
Okay, so it's
So-
4-2 against your motion. So it is denied.
Now, taking that, go ahead, Commissioner May.
I have a motion on the table. I want to put a motion to approve resolution number 2026-005R with the conditions that they meet with DPZ planning prior to city council, as well as providing any documentation from Lake County Water Authority that this will not affect any of the shoreline, or this is an alteration that will not affect the water quality.
And would you like to, you had mentioned a signage component previously. Would you like to add that as well?
Yes, so add also the signage that is stated in the St. John's, which says the permittee shall install permanent no mooring signs as shown on the plans, but I would like to extend that as well to the areas that are habited with vegetation.
Okay. That is a proper motion, asking the,
I'll second.
okay. Motion, second. I just want to consult with our attorney. That's a proper motion in a second, though.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion, second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I'm sorry, we had no,
He said aye.
you said you were aye?
Yeah.
And Vinnie, you were?
You're aye for approval?
Yeah, he was aye.
I'm sorry, I'm denied.
Okay.
I'm denying approval.
Okay. So we had one against, 5 to 1 for approval. All right, that concludes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And Vinnie, I know that was my fault. I'm sorry.
We'll talk outside all day, no waste of time. Commissioners.
Okay, since we've all been seated for nearly 2 hours, I would like to take a 5-minute recess.
Because the Florida legislature has required us to implement it, and it has to, in some way, shape, or form, become a part of the code. I've been asked a lot of questions about it, so I'm trying to summarize just a little bit. But, in a lot of cities and counties, they have amended their zoning codes to prevent recovery residences. It's one of those things, a lot of people don't want them in their neighborhoods, regardless of the level. So the Florida legislature took it upon itself to, again, take away some of your home rule and compel us to have them, and that's why this is before you.
Okay.
Thank you, Counselor, for justifying that.
All right. Thank you. That's staff's report. Is this the appropriate time to ask for any public comments? Last call for public comment. Would anybody like to please line up at the microphone? I think doesn't look like we have any public comment, so I will bring it up. If anybody from the commission would like to address this, we'll start to my right to have Mr. Kramer.
Thank you, Chair. Recovery housing serves individuals who are working to rebuild their lives, and as a city, we both have a legal obligation and a moral responsibility to treat certified recovery residences appropriately under state and federal law. This ordinance brings our zoning code into alignment with those requirements. At the same time, compassion does not mean the absence of standards. Certified recovery residents must meet state certification requirements, and they must remain subject to all of our life safety, building, parking, and property maintenance codes, just like any other residences in our community. If issues arise, we retain the authority to enforce our regulations. This amendment is not about expanding land use categories. It's about clarity, consistency, and legal compliance. It protects individuals in recovery while also protecting neighborhood stability through enforceable standards. I believe as a commission, we can support recovery, uphold the law, and maintain the character of our community at the same time. So I will be supporting this.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioner Nemec.
No questions, all questions were asked and answered.
Commissioner Insua. Commissioner Tadona.
Just for your own edification, there's some additional information on Florida's FAR site, the Florida Association of Recovery Residences. There's a little bit more information in case you want to dive into it. There is a link to an Excel spreadsheet of the current counties where there are residences, if you want to take a look at it. But really, that's all I have, is just wanted to share that information.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Commissioner May, do you have anything to add?
Yes, of course, I always do.
There's no trees involved.
Attorney Watt, thank you so much for the explanation, and yes, I understand this is a requirement and mandated by the state. Just some questions in regards to parking requirements. Is there any parking requirements that we're adding to the language of this ordinance? Because I understand that the certified recovery residence is somewhat like a community residence. So would you be adding parking requirements within this ordinance? Because I'm assuming parking requirements are different for each level, especially level 4. So that's my one question. Also, under level 4, my understanding under level 4 is that it is clinical services, but you have no clinical services. So are we not allowing clinical services for level 4? So that's my second question, because if we are providing clinical services, then that should limit their location within the city.
Okay.
Because it would be considered more like an institutional use or a medical facility. The other question that I have is, I understand that you're making the city manager or the city manager's designee, but I still feel that maybe a city planning division should be the oversight because they are dealing with codes. So as part of the review and approval process. The other question is, I understand that this is administrative only, administrative review process only. I don't know if you want to add language to that as well in your ordinance. And let's see. I did look at what Howie and the Hills did, and they did specify a section within their ordinance that basically states that they designate a zoning district. And what they say is recovery residences may be established under this article. I know you have in any, I guess, as residential uses, but they went beyond saying in any multifamily residential zoning district. Because it is, you know, they are somewhat considered community residences. And then I think my last thing is, if I can find it. I don't know where I put my chicken scratch here. Hold on. Oh, application content. I saw that within, I think, City of Orlando, they had proof of certification as part of their application content. And I think that's it.
Okay.
I hope you took all that.
Would staff like to answer?
Okay.
Or our illustrious attorney?
So, I mean, I'll do my best. First of all, I'll readily admit I'm not an expert in recovery residences. So I think you've raised some interesting points, Commissioner May. The easy thing to address is the city manager or city manager's designee. We talked about that with staff. Originally, I had it designed as going to, planning and development services. But in discussions behind the scenes, we kind of came to the conclusion that it may be that the building folks have more to do with it. And so what we're going to do is have the city manager designate it with one department and see how it goes.
and if it would work better in a different apartment, we want to learn as we go. However, if you feel strongly or the commission feels strongly and we're open to that, and we'll, of course, take your conditions to the council. I did not plan on adding parking as an element to this, but again, I think if you want to do that, that sounds reasonable to me. A lot of different cities and counties have done different things. I definitely like the idea in the application of mentioning or having them confirm, in an affidavit or whatever, that it's certified, and probably some other things too. I know that's not everything, but that's what's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the other cities, specifically Orlando, and I just looked at Howie in the Hills. But the one thing that I was concerned was on parking, because I know there's homes, it says, homes with 6 or fewer residences are deemed single-family units, so you have 2 spaces. But when you start getting into the homes that have 7 to 14 residences, and then all of a sudden you're right next door to a single-family home, then you have issues with parking. So, so is that level of, or is that size of a home appropriate to be next to a single-family home? So I guess through your pre-application process or your application process, you guys will, vet that, I believe.
I think this is probably maybe a question I would have for staff too. I mean, depending on the size of the recovery residence, I assume the parking requirement would be based on code for size and things like that.
Usually on that, it's based on, we classify it as a single-family home.
Even if it's got a capacity of
6 bedrooms, single-family home. It's historically been looked at in the code. A while back, we had a gentleman come forward for a variance where he put pavers all in his front yard and the side yard. It was a very large 2-story home. And again, it's one of those things that's very hard to mandate, because if you say single family home and then you switch, well, if it's used for recovery residence, then it's this or that. And maybe that's something we have to look at. I'm unsure.
The statute doesn't require that we address it, but it seems like a common sense thing that we should take into account. I'm not sure how to. I'll need to think about that.
Yeah, especially under the level 4. I mean, because the level 4 seems to me a little bit more intense service, because you have a 24. Even though level 3 has the 24/7 or 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but it doesn't have that clinical services, right? But in level 4, based on what I was reading on the law, level 4 seems like it does have clinical services. So you have doctors or nursing, that can, or clinical, psychologists, people that show up that are part of the program. So you're going to have, those type of parking spaces, for level 4. But in your level 4, Mr. Wog, you have no clinical services. So I was kind of confused here, because based on what I was reading, level 4 does have clinical services.
I don't think the ordinance limits it at all.
So, so for instance, in City of Orlando, and we're not Orlando, and I know we're not, and we don't want to be Orlando, but it does say cities should have authority to deny level 4 if located within a single family or next to a single family home, because of the level of services that level 4 provides.
And I think, so I mean, I actually now I think I see your point. So the way I wrote it was I did prevent clinical services from being in level 4. I didn't do it because of the parking, but maybe it's up. Clinical services aren't the only things offered at level 4s. I was thinking those probably wouldn't be appropriate for a residential area. That's what I was thinking when I wrote that. So anyways, that was my thinking. So I think we could have it one way, either allow clinical services and maybe put in additional parking requirement, or keep clinical services out and keep it residential, regular. This is a new one for me.
Yeah, I mean, do we have any clinical people, like in the health department? I mean, not the health department, but, you know, from the hospital or somebody who can assist in that? So, but, you know, those were just, you know, of course, we're not allowed to limit them because it is a service that is mandated by a state. But I just want to make sure that all of a sudden, you know, we have, say, for instance, a home in downtown that is next to kind of like a B&B, you know, and then it turns into a big, you know, huge, you know, institutional thing. And then all of a sudden they have parking everywhere. I just wanted to make sure. But that's it. That's
All right,
But
thank you.
Good job.
So, I guess my comments and questions would be, is it critical that we pass something now, or should we take a little bit more time with, I mean,
Yes, it's absolutely critical.
It's critical that
Yes.
we need to pass this right now, so we would
Yes.
need to.
We're past the due date for integrating it to the code.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
Entertain a motion.
Well, I will entertain a motion for this ordinance.
I will move to accept ordinance number 2026-013.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Commissioner May?
Sorry. Aye.
Okay. 6-0 in support. Thank you. That is all we have on our agenda. We are adjourned.